Teściowie 2, or The In-Laws 2, which I guess will be the international title at some point, judging by the first one on Netflix, sequel to the 2021 Polish dramedy, is not out yet, but I watched a pre-screening, you could say against my own will, because it was this sort of thing where it was a secret screening. They wouldn't reveal the name of the film beforehand, and so when I realized that this was the one that was starting up, I sort of groaned inside. Not even because I disliked the original film, because I did, in fact, like it more than I ever expected it to, but rather because I thought that the first film was very self-contained and I didn't see room for a sequel. So when I first saw the poster and the promotional materials which featured the cast of the second one on a beach, I thought, in the paraphrased words of that immortal Kevin Smith anecdote, haven't we said everything with the first In-Laws? Must we go tropical? So I intended to skip this movie because I thought it would be a cash grab without any of the heart of the original. And as it turns out, it is a cash grab without any of the heart of the original. The film's premise is a lazy rehash of the first one. The young couple are trying to have the wedding again, after all, this time in a luxurious beach resort. They invite their parents, tensions rise, hijinks ensue. So let's start ragging on the film, shall we? First of all, the unintentionally hilarious thing for me was that as the movie starts and the in-laws, the parents, are on their way to an airport discussing a beach wedding, I thought, okay, we're going to some exotic tropical location, White Lotus style perhaps. Well, it's literally we have the White Lotus at home situation because they end up going to literally the Polish seaside of the Baltic Sea. And there's something wonderfully ridiculous about that. In any case, what happens afterwards is a combination of a sketch show and a hotel commercial. The film, unlike the first one, has no direction, no purpose, no meaning except as a misguided attempt at capitalizing on the success of a now established title. It's a full-on comedy this time around, and a lot of the jokes feel really damn flat and juvenile, like a lot of Polish comedies. The screenwriters here seem to think that swearing and discussing sex is the most funny thing possible. There's an absurd amount of product placement, mostly for the hotel, as well as a brand of mineral water. Absurd, I tell you. There is an enormous amount of side characters and background extras with visibly non-Polish ethnicity, to the point that it makes the beach look like a statistical anomaly in this country, believe me, which of course then leads into a lot of jokes about Polish racism and xenophobia. You get the idea. Marcin Dorociński, who was the best part of the first film, is absent from this one. And they keep teasing a cameo by saying his character is gonna show up last minute for the wedding because of reasons. And then in the end they just say, oh, he couldn't come because he broke his leg. What? Mate, I thought, they might as well have said that he died on a nuclear submarine, which is what happened to his character in the latest Mission Impossible film, which I believe he was filming instead of this movie. Now, listen, I will be honest and say that a couple of times I did laugh. There are some funny lines and character moments in here, but there's not a whole lot of them, and they didn't make me change my mind about the finished product. And even if I did enjoy the movie as a whole, which I didn't, I would still hate the very idea of it, because I think it's a perfect example of what's wrong with the modern entertainment industry. As soon as any original self-contained thing becomes a success, some people will smell money and try to force that thing into a series or a franchise or a sequel without any understanding what made the original thing work, and as a result running the thing into the ground. And I know that Hollywood in this regard is so far gone that there's no return at this point, but it makes me very, very sad to see European cinema follow in their commercialism-infected footsteps.